welcome, dear teachers. Remember, my name is Belen, and this is the last session for your subject. Well, I am going to start by showing you my slides. Can you listen clear, teachers?
Yes, teacher.
Yes? Okay. Well, okay, so let me show my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, Professor.
Well, okay, so I am going to be fast as possible. Well, this is the last session for the online activity. This is the reality of the classroom. Remember the first part that we were checking, it is related to the lesson programming. It is very important, teachers, that we have a lesson plan. Some teachers I have listened that they don't like to do it because this is a spend of time. But what do you think about a lesson plan? What is your idea for the lesson plan? What do
It
you
is
consider?
Yes, teacher. It is something that helps us to guide our teaching and at the same time give us some aspects to improve for the next lessons.
Exactly, right? So as you said, it is like a guide, right? Where you are going to be organizing your activities, the things that you have to check. Sometimes we can change a little bit, or I don't know, but you can change something according to your plan, but it is not too much. What you have to do is try to follow as an instruction, right? It is an instructive part. Well, what are the elements? This is a short part for the elements. We need to identify our learning objectives, selecting learning activities, assessing students, sequencing the lesson, creating a realistic time, planning, differentiation, flexibility, contextualization, resources, and so on. Well, you are teachers, and I think you have prepared or you have done the lesson plan. Well, can you tell me just in a brief explanation, what are the things that you have to face in your teaching activity? I can share with you that the last year I was working with a deaf mute student. Do you know who this student is? Deaf mute student?
Yes.
Yes. Well, okay, so
Sure.
yeah, well, okay, so something that we need to take into account, obviously, it is the contextualization and obviously the things that we are not prepared to, right? So I wasn't prepared with this kind of students, and what I had to do, what do you think I needed to do with this student? Or what can you suggest me? This student cannot listen and cannot speak even. What I have to do? Because I haven't thought about this. But what I need to do? Because remember, we need to be inclusive in our lessons. And that is what we need to check when we are doing our lesson plan. What do you suggest me to do with this student?
I guess you needed to learn basic sign language to communicate with them.
Exactly, right? So obviously this is a challenge because we are not prepared to. When I went to college, I no teacher taught me how to give a lesson in a sign language, right? So that is when you have your first day of lesson or class, you need to check your students. How do you call that? Obviously, we need to check. We have different evaluation when we are teaching. And the first thing is to identify what kind of students we have in order to prepare carefully our material, right? Well, so when we are checking the lesson plan, we need to be the assessment. We have different assessing activities, but it is in a consideration of your own experience, right? In the previous session, we were checking about, we have to check the qualitative and quantitative assessment, right? And what is more important for you? That is your experience. You need to check your students. You need to know your students, right? Well, so what is the thing that you use, or how is the most valuable thing that you use when you are assessing your students, teachers? What do you take into account? Do you evaluate the 4 skills? Yes or no? Teachers, do you evaluate the 4 skills?
Well, yes and no, because at the school I'm working on, we have to evaluate with rubrics, but I don't create the rubrics. They do. So they evaluate around 4 or 5 aspects, including attitude. But in some of the rubric, they include grammar, for example. In a second rubric, they include pronunciation, intonation.
Okay, so, but in this case, do you evaluate just once in a trimester or once in a bimester? I don't know how to say if it's bimester or partial tests. We can say partial test, or once a year. When do we evaluate, or how often do we assess our students?
Well, I consider that it is important to, well, as a school, they give us some specific dates, right? But in my case, I try to evaluate in every class. I mean, try to have I don't know how to express that. It's not, maybe it's not a formal evaluation, but observing, checking some attitudes, and sometimes I have like a checklist, for example, participation or fluency or something like that. But it's something that I do in my everyday class.
Exactly, teacher. Okay, as you were saying, schools or authorities ask us to give a number at the end of the trimester or the 3 months or the partial test, as you can name that. But we have to evaluate continuously, right? So this, like we say in Spanish, evaluación continua, right? So today we have
That's
assistance,
the
we have
word,
to check.
exactly, teacher.
Exactly, right? So we have to check that. At the end, we assigned a number, right? But it doesn't matter. It is a consideration, but we need to check how our students are doing their work, and obviously we check where do we have to reinforce the things that we are teaching, right? Thank you, teacher. Well, so what are the aspects? Obviously, remember, teachers, our lesson plan is very important to take into account. Why? Because when we are doing our lesson plans, we need to check that we have to evaluate. And what is the assessment that we are going to check here? What is the purpose, the types of assessment? If you are going to check on a speaking assessment, you are going to check a writing assessment, what kind of writing write exam you are going to prepare. In my case, I work with high school students, and I do an online test, right? So, but in your case, I think if you are working with elementary students or secondary students, you have to check in a physical exam, right? So, but you need to check how you are going to collocate each element, listening, speaking. Speaking, we evaluate it in a different way, but you need a rubric when you are evaluating speaking, and what is the format that you have to check for your students, obviously according to the level. Well, so here I have collocated some ideas related to level test. We as teachers, do we evaluate the level of our students? Do you think we are evaluating our level or
Of
students'
course.
level? Yes, we do it, right? So we need to check if my student, we are not a certificate, we don't have a certification or we don't give a certification to our students, but we are qualified to check if my student is in basic, in intermediate, or advanced, and so on, right? So according to this is how I am going to, sorry, how I am going to collocate my test, right? So here we have standardized tests like academic tests. We can check, for example, FCE, or I don't know if you have made that exam, or FSET as I collocated here, and so on. Just there are some certificate um, schools, or as we can check in this case. Well, another thing we have to check or to take into account when we are checking our lesson plan, it is that our students must be a little bit independent. They have to check their self-assessment. Their self-assessment help students to increase their practice, to have control and give great agency, and we are going to promote their own knowledge, right? So we have to implement the curiosity to learn the language and to practice with the language. Okay, well, teacher in the classroom, is it necessary that we as teachers motivate our students? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, thanks, Mary and Ruby. We need to motivate our students. That means I have worked with very, very young students, and I sometimes I have to fall down on the floor and try to sing and move on the floor with them, because that is the level which I am working. We are motivators, and we need to, if they saw us all the time with a sad face or that we are angry, they don't feel comfortable, right? So we need to motivate our students, not obligating, but as I mentioned previously, we have to motivate them to self evaluation and self learning too. Okay. Well, so we need to create. When our students come to the classroom, we have to be positive. We have to be or to smile with them and so on. Right. This only the short version what we are going to check. Well, learning autonomy. I told you previously, we need to make our students to promote their self-assessment, their self-learning, and try they be motivated when they are learning English. Okay. Well, what are the advantages? Well, they taking charge on their knowledge or the self-assessment and so on, active involvement, developing skills, shifting responsibility, increased motivation, enhance learning outcomes, long-term language is not because today I learned I am Belen, tomorrow I forgot it, right? So it is a long-term development, personalized learning, and developing confidence. Okay, well, so I am going to send in the chat. If you can check, please, this link. Try to check it. There are some tips related to here it is, related to tips for make your lesson plan. Chat. Okay, if you have chance to watch it, please do it. Okay. Well, so this is the last part, teachers. As I told you, we're not going to be too much time here. What is the vocabulary? Vocabulary is a collection of words that we are going to teach, in this case, to sum or stock of words employed by a language. What I was talking about a few minutes ago with teacher Catherine was related to your activity, your first assignment. The first assignment is to prepare a lesson where you are going to teach vocabulary. I have collocated these images where I am working or where I am going to try to work with describing people. Okay, so adjectives, we have tall, short, medium, and so on, right? And the idea is that you are going to tell me how you are going to introduce this vocabulary. It's not a long activity. Just collocate the images as you will teach in your class. If you have worked with this activity, use it, teachers. I don't need a new one. You can recycle your material or reuse your material. please do it. It doesn't matter if this class I talked to 2 years ago, I can take it now. Just I have to make some modifications and tell me how you are going to teach these activities or this vocabulary. Okay, so I collocated an exercise related to this descriptions. Choose the correct option for each gap. Anna is not tall, but she's not short. Ada, I guess she is, and I have to collocate the correct answer according to my vocabulary teaching. Okay, and that's all. Is it clear until now, teachers?
I have a question.
Tell me, Hilda.
The lesson about the teaching vocabulary, it's only about introducing vocabulary, or we need to have include exercises and a product.
No, product, no, it's not necessary. No, but you are going to collocate the introduction. I suggest you, if you have a lesson plan, check again your lesson plan, because most part of the time at the beginning of our lesson, well, in my case, I must confess that is in my case. When I am going to collocate my lesson plan, I have, today we're going to work with school objects. I was talking a few minutes ago. To school objects, I chose the whole images, and then I designed how I am going to introduce this vocabulary. Okay, if I am going to use realia, or if I am going to use slides or flashcards and so on. And obviously you need to check an activity, not like that or not like this, where you are going to reinforce your introduction. If I say, for example, today, this is a pen, right? What is this? It is a pen. And what you are expecting from your students, it must be short. What I suggest is try to reuse your lesson plan and introduce this first part of vocabulary. I am not sure if I am being clear, teacher. Is it okay? Teacher?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that is my idea. It is try to use your lesson plan and at the same time use the vocabulary part. If you are going to use two different, it doesn't matter. What I don't want is that you frustrate with these activities. That is not the idea, teachers. Okay? Well,
Could be only for a lesson for a class, just for a class?
yes, just for a class. Just for a class. What are you going to use today? Today, I gave you this. Today, we are going to work with adjectives, for example, like what I have showed you today in this moment. Now, in an hour, obviously, in your lesson plan, you are going to say the word moment is descriptions or adjectives, como how you are going to give that lesson. Then your follow up, that is different, which in your here in the vocabulary, you are going to check that. Now I am going to collocate an audio. What audio is going to be? You have to collocate the link, or the, if you are using the book, what book you are using, what is activity A, activity B, or the handout. I don't know what you are going to use. In your lesson plan, you are going to describe the whole lesson. Okay, but in the description, just what is the vocabulary thing you are going to introduce. Is it much better? Yes. Yes. Ruby
Yes,
and Hilda,
I only have a question, teacher.
tell me.
Do I have to include the time?
No, it's not necessary.
Okay.
No. Is it okay? Is it much better? Ruby
Yes,
and
thank
Hilda?
you. Totally clear.
Hilda,
Yes, thank you.
you're welcome. If you have any question, please be free to ask me. You can send me a text message too. Well, now the rubric. I think you have done your rubric, or even it is not, I don't suggest that, but you can do it if you don't have too much time. You can ask to GPT, or you can check another material on the web where you are going to take rubrics, but please read them, right? Because if you are working with young students or with elementary students, It is not the same to evaluate students who cannot write their name, for example. Right, in ChatGPT, obviously it is standardized, or online rubrics are standardized too. What I consider, you can take ideas from that, but adapt it to your teaching practice, teachers. Right? It is more valuable that you do that. I don't know if you are using ChatGPT. What I am going to consider is what points you are taking into account. If you are going to evaluate, for example, a letter, what points you are going to take in your letter. If you are going to evaluate a presentation, what points you are going to take into account, right? So it is up to you what kind of your rubric you are going to use. You can check a letter, an essay, or a presentation, or an introduction, or topic, or whatever, right? So just what I am going to check is what points you are taking into account in your teaching practice, because it is very important we use rubrics, teachers. Any question until now?
Teacher, I have read in the activities you sent to the platform that you wanted a rubric, about a speaking rubric.
Yes,
Or I check. Uh-huh.
okay, yes,
So we are going to evaluate that points about the speaking, not about a letter or something else.
yes, wherever you want. It doesn't matter. Just I chose a speaking rubric, right? So I have collocated this, and the rubric that I have here, it is for evaluating an essay. The example here is an essay. And in the instruction, I said speaking rubric. But if you feel comfortable to use an essay rubric or a letter rubric or whatever, according to your practice, change it. It doesn't matter. Is it okay? Yes or no? Teachers?
Yes.
Well, okay, so thank you. I collocated that speaking, but you can adapt it to your own teaching. If you prefer an essay, a presentation, or a letter, or whatever, you can adapt it. It doesn't matter. What I want to check is what points are you checking like this. I have checking quality of writing, if it seems like an expert, accomplished, a capable beginner, and so on. The use of grammar and mechanics, and so on. These are the points, right? So it is the only thing that I checked for checking an essay. But as you can say, this is the beginner, is not an advanced essay. And the last thing, the lesson plan. The lesson plan, we were talking a few minutes ago. This is our guide, right? And it is important for us to have our guide, okay? And here I have collocated an example. You need to collocate the class, the subject, the date, right? So what I would like you collocate, if the lesson or if the class is 50 minutes, or if it is an hour, you have to collocate in that case, right? Obviously, teachers, you have different lesson plans. I don't ask you for a specific format. What I want is to simplify the work. I don't want you frustrated or be angry because teacher Belen asked us to collocate and use this format. No, use what you have. Use what you use in your lessons. Adapt it or reuse it or change, collocate the changes, the necessary changes for sending it to me. I'm not going to use anything, judge anything, right? So this is the noun. You can collocate, for example, instead noun, you can collocate adjectives or comparatives or whatever. So this is according to your own teaching. Remember to take into account the things I collocated in the previous slides. Remember, check context, level, the unit or the topic that you are going to give. What are the activities? Consider the worm or the follow-up or the close-up. What is the material you are going to collocate? If it is a video, if it is the book, their hangouts, flashcards, whatever, everything you need for having a successful lesson. Is it okay, teachers?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
Well,
thank you.
well, that's all, teachers. This is only the summarized part. I have here my references. You have it in the platform too. This is all for me. If you don't have any other questions, just tell me. You feel you can be free for testing me, even for the WhatsApp. Remember, we have the next Saturday to have the whole activities and the platform. No questions? Yes or no?
I have another question.
Tell me, Ilda.
In the rubric, you gave an example of it, mentioning the levels of the students. The beginner to more advanced. So in my case, that I teach beginners, I only going to use the rubric, the part of beginners.
Exactly, right?
Okay.
So yes, because you're
Not
not going.
the three.
No, no,
Not
no,
the
no, no,
three.
no, no,
Okay.
no, no.
Okay.
It is expected that you use the rubric for the level you are teaching or the level you are going to assess, not for the other students, right? If you are working with sixth grade students in elementary school, what are the things you are expecting this student knows? No, you are not the student that you are expecting in fourth grade and so on. So it's what you are teaching specifically for that level. Mhm.
Thanks,
Anything else?
teacher.
You're welcome. Anything else, teachers? Yes?
Thank you so much. Any doubt? Well, if I have any questions for you, I'm going to text you, teacher, later.
Yes?
Thank you so much.
Yes? Yes, no worries. I am going to be, maybe I'm not going to answer in the same moment, but as soon as I can read it, I will answer to you. Be free to texting me. We have from today until the next Saturday, right? Because at midnight, the platform closes, and I am going to check on Sunday, I'm going to check the whole activities. I am checking some that you are doing in the forums because the only finished is the forum. Just I have one student who has finished the first assignment. You have the whole week. Don't stress. Try to do it as soon as possible. I don't want to pressure you, but we have the last Saturday. This is 26.
Oh, excuse me, teacher. You said that there were forums too? I'm sorry, I didn't see them.
What? Sorry, can you repeat?
Oh, yes, you said something about forums too? We had to comment in?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't see
No, no, no.
them.
Just the forum that is obligated. It says that is obligated. I think, let me check
Sorry, I
again the
didn't
platform.
see it.
There are, until now, there are, I think there are 6 forums. I think so. 1, 2, 3.
But do I still have time to make the comment?
Yes, yes. We have 5 forums, but one forum is for the link for the session 1. The second, the other, it says session 2. That is the next forum. You cannot comment in that forums. Just the forum which says single forum. That is the only one that you have to comment. Is the only forum that you have to do that. That forum it will be open until Saturday, next Saturday.
Perfect. I still have
Yes,
time then. So much.
yes, you have the whole week. Let me share my screen. Wait a minute. Here. Here we have the single forum. That is the only forum you are going to comment. This is the only one. The other are just information, right? But the only thing you have to do is this forum.
Okay,
Single
perfect.
forum.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, you have time. As you can see, I have only 5 comments, right? So you have time. Try to do it. Is just you have to answer the questions. That's all. Okay? No more questions?
Okay. No more. Thank you.
Thank you. Remember, if you have questions, text me. and I will answer as soon as possible. Have a nice afternoon. Take care, teachers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.